again, protection. Haku with a great defensive ulti. In the middle is Mike Young taking a little too much damage. Mike getting low. Lira pulls him in again for Bivens. Takes him onto the flash, goes down. TSM scares. Oh my god for Bivens. Bjergsen though shuts him down as the mid lane is just going at it. Clutch Gaming gonna take the marathon versus TSM.
Apollo almost dead.
Good ulti again. The Rune Glass back into Bjergsen. Lira flash ultimate. Lira has been promoted to 007.
Solo from the side here, just kind of pushing in. And
Goodbye, Fed. Goodbye. Oh my goodness. Clutch will silence the Doubters and take down TSM. Thank you for joining me for tiebreaker number 3. And despite all my effort, I could not keep Isaac Asale Cummings family from jumping into some casts today.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. It's a lot on the line here on the final day.
Certainly is. Our next tiebreaker match pits TSM versus Clutch Gaming.
And TSM have been looking incredibly strong in the second half of the split. They are now sitting at 7-2 in their last 9 games. Bjergsen in particular has been looking amazing. And I think in these last couple of weeks, he's been dominating the mid lane harder than any other mid laner around. And it's just been a beautiful thing to watch.
Amazing to think, given the struggles they had. But for Clutch Gaming, eyes will be on their star mid laner as well to step up and play against Bjerg.
Yeah, certainly so. I think for Clutch, the mid lane is going to be so crucial. Febiven as well has been having an MVP caliber season. This guy has been a monster. He was, the EU LCS's best mid laner in the regular split last year, and he's been a big star for this team. And he needs to be able to step up against Bjergsen for them to be able to win here today.
Well, the pressure is on for both these teams. Playing again for seeding. The winner will go on to fight for 3rd and 4th versus Team Liquid. The loser will play Cloud9 for 5th/6th. So everyone's in the playoffs. We just got to break some damn ties, Azale, as Azir gets banned away from Febiven. Smart stuff there from TSM.
And the seeding becomes so incredibly important at this point because of the ups and downs that some of these teams are having. Yes, they are all tied, but when you look at the second half that a team like Cloud9 had compared to the second half that some of these teams like 100 Thieves and TSM and even Clutch have had, it's on different sides of the spectrum, right? So you really want to avoid some of these super tough matchups, and to do that, you're going to have to win out in these tiebreakers.
Yep, Zaya Varus joined in as 2 bot laners banned by TSM. Swain Rise, Sion, Skarner, Caitlyn, Sidwani. Yeah, we go. There's the draft all caught up. Yeah. I mean,
we're on like game 8 of the day. These guys are like, all right, I'm hungry. Let's get this done.
Certainly had time to do your prep, so it kind of makes sense that the teams know what they want here in the matchup. Haunter also back to Gangplank, so that will be picked up here.
And Haunter has had some very, very good Gangplank stats. He's still actually 5-0 on the champion on the split, is yet to lose, so that is something that bodes well for TSM. And while most people, I think, coming into this, based on the strength these teams have shown over the past couple of weeks, will be saying, yeah, TSM is the favorite. You also have to remind, Clutch beat TSM in both of their matchups throughout this split. So they are 2-0 head-to-head over TSM, and despite the fact that TSM has some of these bigger name players and is on this big upward trend, Clutch has been looking good and has seemed to have had TSM's number.
And it's also kind of a tough thing where Solo has also played a lot of GP, kind of forced onto Gnar this time around, has not looked as hot in more of those counter matchups, feels much more like, a farming, great team fighter in the mid to late game, which has been a lot of Clutch's identity.
Yeah, definitely so. I'd also say that Clutch does not play very heavily around Solo, but it's one of those cases where I feel if you're picking a matchup like Gnar into GP where you should be bullying early, where you should be getting an advantage, if you're just going to leave him alone and he falls behind or is getting picked on, the GP gets to free scale, gets to become ridiculously strong, so that can be a concern for them. And we're going to have to see not only how Solo performs individually in the 1v1 if he can get ahead, but also how Lira and Febiven and the rest of the team will protect him from any potential ganks and dives.
Yeah, kind of interesting to see much more of a tank jungler with Olaf up. Not going to be counter picking the Skarner this time. Kog'Maw Jhin banned by Clutch, trying to take Sven's champions away. Tahm Kench on the other side there with the Braum already selected, trying to pinch support as Morgana. Haku and his famous bindings will not be seeing play in this game.
The most played for Sven by far, though, is still available. He has 9 Ezreal games so far this split, a pretty strong win rate on that as well, almost up to 80% at this point. He's been doing very, very well. So I don't think he's going to be incredibly worried about the fact that he's not going to have that available as far as some of these bans that have come out. But we'll have to see if he's willing to actually pick something that is a little bit more defensive like the Ezreal, or if he still feels that they need a bit more damage, kind of punch through some of the front line.
Yeah, they played, Mithy's also played a lot of Braum by a lot. I think Zen will triple his next pick champion with already the stats he has on easy, but Orianna is the pick for Febiven, so opting for comfort, surprising everyone.
Yeah, surprising everyone and also surprising no one, as he's going to lock in his 10th Ezreal of the split. This is the 9th Braum of the split for Mithy, so this is extreme comfort for them. For Bjergsen as well, while he has not played Syndra more than other champions this split, it's only his 4th appearance that he is going to be making in this game. This is one of his signature champions from over the years, and Bjergsen has been so damn good on it. When you think about the last game they had against C9, his Scatter of the Weeks, knocking Svenskeren out of Invis time and time again, turning the game on its head. He has been a monster, and having that pick here against Febiven, it's going to be a very intense match in the mid lane.
Think about the identity that TSM had for a while when they started winning was Bjerg on globals, Galio, Talia, Ryze, his other 3 picks. And then sometimes there was Syndra. He was like, well, I feel like helping my side lane, so I'm just going to win my lane instead, taking the Syndra here up against Ori. Thresh was the pick also from Hakuo, so definitely everyone leaning on their comfort champions here.
Yeah, definitely so, and I do think that Thresh has some pretty good targets here. You know, when you are looking at someone like the Syndra, if you can get on top of her, she has relatively low mobility. Going to be taking the cleanse as somewhat of an answer to the Sejuani, to Thresh hooks, and these sorts of things, but definitely have to look for Hakuo to make some plays. This guy has been a monster with the skill shots, so good on Morgana, on Thresh, on a lot of these playmaking champions. He has been looking really, really good, and I think he's going to need to have a fantastic game here.
I mean, at this point, given how close the standings have been, every team will need to play fantastic to move themselves up further towards those better-looking seeds. But Clutch and TSM going to go head-to-head for a 3rd time. Bit of bonus League of Legends here for you today. We'll get a lot of it if you're somehow just tuning in.
Definitely so. We're going 10 games of Dream.
Hey, you tweeted before the first game, and you have got your wish. I think I'm glad that you're here casting some of them, because I think that's only fair.
It is only fair. I deserve to get in here for a couple. We're going to have a hell of a match here, I think. TSM and Clutch. The loser is going to be playing against Cloud9, and the winner would then go on to play against Team Liquid, so they know their opponents. Both these teams who have already lost will be watching and kind of scouting out this match as well, so a little mini playoff bracket.
Yep. It's been fun, but only one can win this match, at least, as the teams will move out onto Summoner's Rift. TSM just trying to put the 0-2 record in the regular split behind them versus Clutch. Clutch thinking, hey, we beat them twice already. 3rd should be pretty easy. We'll see.
And I mean, they would definitely love to do that. If Clutch could strive for that 3rd seed, that would be such a triumph for this team. You know, new organization coming in. 100 Thieves has already clinched 1st place in the NALCS split in their inaugural season, so very impressive stuff from them. And Clutch has been, you know, really, really looking good here too. And just working so well as a squad. But one of the things you always kind of have to talk about with Clutch is they have struggled to beat teams kind of above the line, so to speak. Teams that have been above them in the standings, teams that have been, you know, one of those top teams. They have really kind of had their troubles, and TSM has been getting better and better throughout the split, but Clutch still has been able to beat them.
Level 1 there under Forbidden does not burn anything, but will not be able to go back in time before the wave crashes. So Mithy there with a bit of a roam, some free harass for Bjergsen there to start off his mid lane.
Yeah, actually really nicely done. I mean, they essentially get about a potion's worth of damage down on him, or even a little bit more than that, you know, maybe more like 200 plus damage. So he already has to use a potion right off the start of the lane. He's not even going to get back to full HP, so that is, you know, a little advantage there given over to Bjergsen, which he may be able to turn into a lot if a gank can come through, or if he can really just play well in that 1v1.
Both junglers starting on the right-hand side, so red for MikeYeung, blue for Lyra. See if they do make their way top, but just keep clearing that jungle. Hook plan for Hakuo, so far so good. No combo there yet for Apollo. They have been great together in comboing in these Caitlyn-based lanes, but obviously at level 1, can only just get some poke there.
Yeah, but still very nicely done, and while the Aftershock passive is up there, and oh my god, they're actually going to proc the stun!
Ignite down as well, level 1 looking good. Apollo flips to flash away! Looking for it to ignite is enough! Mithy able to grab it, but it's a counter kill for Hakuo!
The trade of kills, both the supports get it, but this is actually so much better for TSM, because Sven can push this in and deny so much of the farm over there from Apollo, and they were just not expecting this, and Bjergsen now roaming in here onto Lyra, he wants more.
A level 2 invade actually might be enough. No, it's done. But so, actually does have it, but used it already.
That is actually so bad for Lyra, though, because the buff resets, he has to go back to base, which means MikeYeung just gets the skitter on in here, take away the red buff, perhaps, and he's going to think a little bit better. That a bit nervous about the collapse there from Febiven, but either way, advantage is being gained on both sides of the map here. Really good start for TSM.
Bjergsen, why are you so good on Syndra? to get that stun. Let's watch this one again.
I mean, this is just straight up a level 1 all-in. They see Apollo in front of the minions. Mithy walks up, nails the Q, full commitment to that, flashing forward, and they're lucky Hakuo just barely pulled Mithy into turret range. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to get that trade kill. So good job by Hakuo trading back, but definitely the advantage goes to TSM on the bot side of the map and up here in the jungle as Bjergsen pushing out Lyra. Already, still stuck at level 2. This is a level 3 Skarner in your jungle, in your face, harassing you. It's going to be very difficult to deal with that.
And your mid lane is getting pushed in right now. Forgiven does have mana flip ban back up and ready.
It's really cool to see, though, how all these little things have kind of come together. I mean, this little push on mid lane, shoves Febiven back, costs him a potion, makes him play more defensively in lane. That means he gets pushed in, which means Bjergsen can take that lead, and instead of sitting around in lane, then shoves Lyra out of his jungle. That allows Mike Young the advantage, which goes into this red buff steal. It's all these little pieces that have come together, and this is just a fantastic job by TSM, extending very small advantages and showing how you can turn those into big ones.
And again, I'll always hark back to Summer 2016 TSM, who just played every lane at full speed. Very different bot lane this time around with Zven and Mithy, who have been consistent, but I would say quite defensive throughout this split. Not the case in that 2 all-in, still showing that, they are experienced players. They know that when the time is ripe, they can spring an all-in.
Yeah, I mean, a level 1 all-in is about as aggressive as you can get here, but oh, nice hook from Hakuo.
Hakuo looking good on the hit rate. Yeah, trapped a little out of range from Apollo.
But the other thing that's kind of going well for TSM in this bottom lane is it is the Aftershock versus the Spellbook. So because it was the trade of Ignites, Mithy almost has his Ignite back up now because there is the shorter cooldown on his Summoner spells with his runes, and he's going to be looking perhaps to try to capitalize on that. If you can force another good all-in with the Summoner advantage, you certainly could have the edge there.
Certainly could, but I'm scratching my head a touch here. Monster somehow got back to lane with a Sheen without using his teleporter.
Yeah, I mean, that's simply just him pushing in solo, right? If you can shove in your opponent, if you can base on a cannon wave especially, you're going to have a lot of time to actually just walk it back to lane. But definitely not the position you want to be in here as the Gnar. You would like to be the one pushing in. You would be like to be that one kind of bullying them out. And being able to have a nice, easy base on the Sheen and still have your teleport available is just such a good spot for a GP to be in.
Yeah, I think more of my question was, in this matchup, how exactly? Didn't get to see too much of it, but Hauntzer has been playing up to kind of keep the top side jungle aggression going for TSM. Here's again from mid lane. Bjergsen is going to get a good scatter back, but here comes Hakuo, finds the hook and insta-cleanse from Bjerg. Shockwave flashed out of the way. Bjergsen sneaks off.
Nicely done to escape there from Bjergsen, but great roam and collapse coming in here from Clutch. They get both the mid lane summoners and none expended there for Febiven, so this is going to be allowing him a chance to not only get a good base timing off as Lyra's helping him push out, but also to be able to kind of push up and be a little bit more aggressive in this 1v1. So it is the one flash expended by Hakuo, but they get 2 summoners from Bjerg, and going to be very happy about that. Can even look for a repeat gank before they come back up.
These will take their bases, so we'll see what's happening. Early Merc is actually for Bivin. Do like that defensive first tier here for Bjerg, so he's going Seraphs.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense when you're playing against the Syndra. You see a lot of people do this, not only for the Scatter of the Weak reduction in stun, but also for the skill shot dodging. Higher move speed is pretty important. And also, when you are going up against the Skarner, the Fracture stun is pretty important there too. So, a lot of reasons to be grabbing those early Merc trades.
Well, back here on the top side, Hauntzer, despite getting back to lane with an item, is still behind. You can see us ever so slightly to the Doran shield now. Good little barrel take there by Solo. Waves pushing in the wrong direction for Hauntzer, though.
Yeah, and it is going to push up a bit, but at the same time, Solo would like to shove because you need to get your own base off. You don't want to just sit around farming the whole time. It's actually, pretty okay in this position for Hauntzer. But Mike Young looking to force something out with the Predator.
Oh, flash. There's the ult down. But Vivian going to eat the damage. Scatter of the Weak will follow. Looking for another kill. It's Bjergsen that grabs it.
Nicely done. Febiven, not early flashing. Wasn't sure if he could do it reactively or not. And Mike Young comes in with the Predator. The flash ultimate just gets comboed down.
And it's going to get worse here. Looks like a blue buff steal with the extension on the play here for TSM. Mithy here just to make sure everything goes right. And Bjerg not even going to go over and get it. He'll get his. Mike Young will take this one.
And I mean, you can see the big experience advantage that is developing in the jungle here. Mike Young is going to get level 7 probably off this Gromp before his opponent even gets level 6. And that, again, is off the mid lane pressure that was put in, the kind of invade that Bjergsen did to shove Lyra off. all these little advantages are extending, are compounding, and this is really how you can snowball a game. You can see they're already building up a pretty big advantage here, and this is just Predator gank, pop, Febbin, flash, ult. No chance to react unless you want an early flash and just blow that immediately. That may have been the right choice, but it's definitely hard to know exactly how much damage is going to do.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have lived. Yep, really nice gank from MikeYeung. Again, continuing the pressure. He's had a great run of form on Skarner. Certainly showing why it is such a powerful pick here in the current metagame. And
you're starting to see why MikeYeung was picked up by TSM, as he's starting to work better with the team. For a lot of the early weeks, he really was struggling to kind of find his groove to make things work. Lira with the ult.
Bjergsen! Stop it! Stop being so good. Nice sidestep there on the ulti. No cleanse not needed there for Bjerg.
Not needed. Had the Merc Treads, the move speed. A good little sidestep there, but Lira off the mark. With Bjergsen having no flash, maybe Lira should have gone for, perhaps just a flash, a Q flash into the ultimate, something to try to hit confirm or guarantee it. Decides not to expend that summoner in conjunction with the ultimate though, so Bjergsen nicely played to get away.
And again, I think just echoing your point at the top of this game, how well Bjergsen has been playing in these last few weeks. Solo with an ult looking for damage on a Haunter. Haunter going to burn his ulti defensively.
Solo probably could have just kept pushing there, but might have been nervous about where MikeYeung was, and they have eyes on MikeYeung now, but perhaps could have just continued chasing forward to get a little bit more damage out. Either way, still a good trade for him, and MikeYeung going to continue the onslaught, just taking camp after camp after camp away.
Yep, Cinderhawk already done. Predator back up and running for another time. Does get spotted on the speed train, but I'm going to just give over blue to Bjergsen. A little late, but they stole one away, so Febiven will be denied his first blue in this game. We'll see if TSM continue with their aggressive invading. Given the pattern of this game so far, I'm going to hazard a guess at yes.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, as long as Bjergsen can continue shoving in, there's no way that MikeYeung loses the 1v1 right now to Lira, both because of champion and the gold advantages. So he's certainly in a really good spot, and you can continuously continue to push in and pressure up in that jungle. It limits a lot of Lira's options, not only because you're taking away the gold and the experience, but also because being in his face like that is going to help track him in the jungle very, very well and limit his gank options.
Well, check back in with the bot lane. Haven't seen it in a while, but still a lead here for Zven. That Sheen now paired in next to the tier. Here in mid lane once again. MikeYeung going to rush in. Stun doesn't land. Now Febiven, no, he doesn't even flash. Maybe saves it for after, but I don't know if that's enough. The Shockwave is good, but a good counter gank here from Lira. Could turn it all the way around. Lira finds it. There's Hakuho looking to drag one back into the box for Mithy. Lira still here. There's a flash. Follow forward. Permafrost, Clutch Gaming. Finally get an answer here in the mid lane for Biven. Grabs the kill.
Well done, and Febiven doesn't even blow his flash in the whole play. Confident that he could survive through it all with the team coming in, with the Merc Treads there. They're able to turn around 2 for 0 on the kills on the play. And positive in summoners is they get both the summoners actually out of Mithy and only have to expend Lira's flash.
An easy read, but a very effective one there for Clutch as they counter gank mid lane, get there first and turn it all around.
Get the buffs back on Lira here too, enable him to get in there, steal away some of the Raptors, so kind of battling back in that jungle matchup there as well. And with the kill and the assist, he's going to be pretty close in gold. So here's the play one more time. Febiven feeling pretty confident. I'm surprised, they had the confidence to not flash after how he got burst down the first time, but with the Merc Treads, feeling that he would be able to survive. Nicely avoid some of the skill shots there from Bjergsen. Lira comes in, a great hook from Hakuho, and slowing down Mithy so much in conjunction with that Sejuani passive. No way for him to get out, and he drops the Ignite, but not going to get him a kill.
Hakuho's getting tagged up though, almost proc concussive blows, but not landing on the support. Apollo hanging out, just trying to fire back in onto Zven.
You do really have to give a lot of credit to TSM's bot lane here though, being up on CS against the Caitlyn, which is traditionally such a dominant laner in the bottom side. Not only do they first blood Apollo, but they have been able to maintain a small advantage in the farm department there. So really feeling good. And despite the fact that it's not this massive CS advantage, it's just such a big win that Apollo is not in their face, not sieging the turret, because that is really what you pick this Caitlyn for. You want him to be able to be shoving up, being aggressive, knocking down turrets early, and using that siege pressure to kind of avoid this power trough, so to speak, in the mid game where you have to wait after IE to complete 2 or 3 items before you kind of become strong.
Well, Clutch do a nice job righting the ship. About 1,500 between the two teams before. Leader's been cut in half thanks to Clutch's play in mid lane. Ponzo is going to return back, uses that TP finally, and with good reason. He's got a Trinity Force now completed pretty quickly, as Solo also going to take his back.
Yeah, that was around 12 minutes, 12:30 or so, which is really, honestly, quite fast. He has his magical boots done. Going to be likely working towards some cabbies, it looks like there, perhaps. And you know, Haunter is doing very well up in the top side of the map. The fact that he can kind of keep this as an even lane, and then with the GP passive, he's going to have more gold than his opponent. He's going to be very relevant. And Solo, I think, is going to have a difficult time as this game extends, you know, being able to match up well in this 1v1.
Yeah, gold, even versus Gangplank is almost never even. Actually, up 500 gold right now. Rift Herald started by Mike Young, trying to use some of that pressure that Haunter now has to take away the objective. Clutch, though, fading bot side, looking to line something up here. Maybe a full dive here. Solo can't join, but 4-man would be good. The Rift Herald goes over. They have the info on TSM now, so instead they'll back off the dive and take the Mountain Drake.
I like this as not only going to help them to take any potential Barons or other Dragons, things like that. It will help a lot in the siege, and this is quite a strong siege comp. With the Caitlyn, you can move up and really start to threaten on those turrets. Give a little bit extra damage. You'll knock some of those down, and perhaps if Solo can start to win that matchup and push in Haunter a little bit more, could help him out there too. But TSM certainly, with the Rift Herald in their back pocket, has the potential to try to look for a kill and then knock down at least one turret, if not two.
Yep, still first turret up for grabs, so see if Mike Young can use that Eye of the Herald to convert. Nice little advantage here for TSM. Hakuo roaming around. Mike Young's going to spot them. Control Ward is here. 2v2 right now. Flash the press. Looking for the sting. The Q missed actually from Mithy, but the knockup might still be good enough. Bjergsen combos in for the 2-man stun. Haunter with the GP ult on top. A Shockwave though defensively. Lyra gets out with a Lantern. Hakuo able to save his teammates.
Nicely done. The heal drop there too, and they're going to get out with the trade of Summoners. Goes pretty even there, and you can see again on the bottom side, Sven pushing in Apollo, trying to continue the pressure there, just non-stop shoving up. But both these teams are looking quite evenly matched, despite the fact that TSM had some nice early leads. Clutch really has been able to strike back, be in the right place at the right time, match the roams, match their pressure, and fight very evenly.
I feel like Apollo would be a lot happier if they were winning the lane as they kind of intended, but I mean, Hakuo's roam effectiveness is enough. I think Apollo's like, okay, I accept it this time around.
Definitely so. You have to protect your mid laner, and here it is again. Flash ult onto Hakuo. Bjergsen was not yet in position to actually drop his damage down, which is why they do not have enough to really finish that off. And then the nice shockwave from Fevin. Lyra flashing over the wall, drops the lantern.
All right, 2v2 back again, and look what's happening. TSM trying to all in, but Hakuo with a good defensive box. They win out in that trade.
That's, you know, Summoner trade again. You know, the Ignite for the heal there. Mithy with both of his Summoners available has actually swapped over to the Cleanse, and this is, he's one of the first guys I really had seen using Cleanse a lot as a spellbook Summoner for support. Not very many people have been doing that in the earlier stages of the season, and he has really kind of prioritized that as someone who can put himself in front, block up the CC, then still have the Cleanse to safely get himself out afterwards. So pretty smart adaptation.
Nice trap being set though here by Clutch. Hakuo down, but oh look, everyone's hanging out. Riven's here as well, so it's currently 4v3 under this turret.
Bjergsen's on the roam, but he decides to go back and push out, so this to me signifies TSM thinks they can hold on their own, but they are getting pretty low.
Oh, good cleanse by Mithy. Lyra with a pinpoint ulti though. Not enough. The shockwave. Oh, Lyra, I think he tried to follow in with the flash, but doesn't get it. Lantern though is going to get him out to safety. Clutch racing with that first turret.
Bjergsen coming down now though, and they could get cut off a little bit here. It looks like he did shove out the wave and comes on down. Predator pop by Mike. Nice hook on a Bjergsen.
Good cleanse though by Bjerg to get himself out. Lyra forced to Arctic Assault away though.
Yeah, Hakuo has just been so on point with these hooks. The cleanse did force a lot more to come out from Clutch to actually get that kill on the Mithy, but he does go down in the end. It's a 1-for-0 trade, and Fevin now trying to get back to the mid lane, but getting cut off here has got to be careful.
Chills out, decides to walk back over his control ward, and oh, Shelly. Bjergsen's like trying to find him. He knows something's up. The minion is going to spot him briefly. So here comes Shelly charging up. Lyra here to try and deter it though. Any weakening you can do is nice. Again, oh, great stun. Lyra just again trying to kill the Herald. The damage it's doing is good, but it's not enough for the turret. Hakuo also back here again, but TSM first to this play.
And nicely defended. TSM is also a lot more healthy. You look at Hakuo, half health. You look at Lyra, half health or so. Fevin about half health now. Nice flash. Yep. But it will be TSM's turret. They're a lot healthier. They can look to force the play because they had gone back to base and able to convert on that Rift Herald. get the first turret, and also in the most important location.
Yes,
knocking
absolutely.
down that defensive mid lane turret really is going to open things up for Bjergsen and make it so much harder for Febiven to feel safe on the map, plus allow invade paths into Lyra's jungle.
Yeah, looks like 3,000 gold up now for TSM. They take their first turret, they get that boost in gold, and most importantly, they're starting to win a little in map control. Blue, as a result, stolen away again, as let's watch this.
Here it is one more time. The hook gonna find Mithy. Hawkwo just so on point with this, and they decide, you know what? He's low enough. We can follow this up. But you see Mithy positioning himself in front of Zven. That is intentional to get away from that Arctic Assault, to block it from hitting your Ezreal. He uses the cleanse. A nice flash out. Not able to flash follow in time for the Shockwave to land, but they have the damage. They get the kill. They back off. In the ensuing play, though, it's TSM that kind of comes out on top as it's one kill for first turn.
Yeah, the overreach kind of cost Clutch a little too much in health. So that Rift Tower plus good calling by TSM does gift them that first outer turret in mid. Hawkboy, though, credit continues to go his way. I don't think I've seen him miss a hook this game, at least on camera.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels that way. I know we may not want to look too closely into it, because we did this with the Morgana bindings. Like, oh, I guess he does miss some. But he is a monster with his skill shot, and it's fun to see a player who kind of has his own style and is so known for it, even with kind of some unique champions that he does love to bring out. It's definitely been an exciting one, and he has been prioritizing this really heavy roam style. Not only is he going for the Moby boots, but he did go for the Eye of Ascension, which gives additional move speed on top of that. So he has a tremendous amount of move speed in his build already, but he is quite squishy.
Another play attempt here by both. Mithy going to get the first ward down to spot Lyra in the brush.
Predator pops.
Looking for the kidnap, finds the suppress in onto Lyra. Lantern is there. Oh, he gets knocked back away from it. Very nice from TSM. The collapse is good.
Look at all the wards they dropped to block that. 3 wards going down on the Lantern, so no chance that Lyra can actually click on that one. Good catch by the observers.
I mean, they knew Hakuo has been on point with saving his teammates, so decided to cut that avenue off. Solo trying to get a bit more aggressive now, so back up here. He's got a good CS lead and a Black Cleaver, plus the Jarum's Fist already done. But Haunter is holding more than his own here in the matchup.
Yeah, Haunter working pretty quickly towards his Sterix Gauge. And once he does hit that 2-item spike, he is going to be very, very strong. It looks like TSM going to get another turret. So that is 2-0 now. They really are starting to open up the gold lead, 4K ahead, looking to take this another dragon here too, and just kind of help them that much more. And it's less, I think, in cases like this about the big amount of power that an Ocean Dragon is going to give you, and more about, hey, we are in control of the map. We have turrets down on the bottom side and in the mid lane. We should get the next dragon, so let's start the spawn, see if we can get something like an Infernal or a Mountain.
Yep, here we are again though. Lyra, he tried to make something happen, but Mike Young was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, and Hakuo trying to lantern him out. Look at all the wards. 1, 2, 3, all dropped down. No way he was going to be able to get over to that one. I wonder why Hakuo actually threw it to the side. It might have been, trying to anticipate the fact that they would be blocking this with their bodies and it would be hard to click on. But either way, it did not work out, and Lyra's going to go down.
Does fall as a result. Looks like swaps here for the duos. It freshly brought in Trinity Force, for Zven versus that Static Shiv as Apollo working on that IE, trying to get the lane shoving out. Oh, finally misses the hook that I remember here on camera. Good shift there from Zven to get away. It's pretty tricky to get an Ezreal, but Clutch still trying to just get a turret. Kind of saw this in the last game with TL versus Cloud9. In the earlier stages, it's okay to not get those turrets because eventually you assume you'll get them and kind of match, but the longer you do not have them, the more it hurts, both in gold and in map control.
And you have to be able to, at the very least, stabilize, and that is something that Clutch has been really good at doing, at kind of giving up the minimum in the mid game, something that their coach D-Lim did speak about. Yes, they do sometimes fall behind, but they're able to minimize losses. They're able to stay in the game and make really good decisions throughout the mid and late game that allow them to pick up a lot of victories. And here is them finally going to be able to knock down that first turret.
Apollo does get it. Sven's like,
damage.
Might cost you his life. Very strong on the Ezreal right now, but Zven flashes out from under the reinitiation. Two-shot barrage not going to ring true.
I mean, you see the amount of damage Zven put out right there. He already has the Transform Muramana. He has his Triforce. He has Lucidity Boots, so he's on a ton of CDR. He's on a ton of damage right now. This is not the Iceborne build. It's a higher DPS, squishier style build. But I do think it makes quite some sense when you aren't in this team that has a tremendous amount of high consistent damage. It's more about the burst, coming out of your mid laner and things like this. So you want to make sure that you can punch through those tanks, and having the Triforce is going to help him to do that.
Looks like IE done for Apollo, so he's getting there as far as the 2-item spikes go. Bjergsen up a needlessly large rod, basically. Febiven does have 2 items, but kind of forced to go Banshees, given the threat of the Syndra and the Stunner. TSM, again, good counterplay. CJ took a turret in top. They know that there's space here, so they just trade right back.
And
Take
Clutch
another turret.
is going to try to answer in mid lane. They are pushing up here pretty heavily, but Haunter trying to be able to push them back.
Backthrow Shockwave, flash out from Haunter. Lyra's here, gets the Chilling Smite down. Ace in the hole, flash forward from Lyra. He wants to seal, he'll get the Permafrost. The damage is good for Vivian, grabs it.
Oh, the hook on Mike Young.
That's a suppressor, but I think it might be okay. No, it's not at all. Apollo is going to go down solo with a big scoop, trying to find the rest of the fight. The hook Ryan's backing onto Mike Young, but Forbidden just doesn't have cooldowns to work with. Apollo, he went down, and that's the damage pulled out from under Clutch.
Yeah, Hako actually hooked the flash ult from Mike Young, which I thought may have prevented that Skarner ult from dragging Apollo far enough back and killing him. They did complete the kill regardless, though, but still a nice attempt at the play there from Hako, and Apollo does go down. TSM defends the mid lane turret, so pretty good for them in the trade. It's 1-for-1, but keep the turret alive, and they knock down a turret of their own on the top side.
Yeah, we'll see if Clutch continue to attack here in mid, but I think the play is over as we watch this one again.
And Haunts are just trying to get in there and defend. The very edge of the Shockwave catches him, and then Lyra committing to this, flashes over, gets on top of the Permafrost coming out, and they're able to finish him off. And then look at this. That hook just barely didn't get Mike Young before Apollo gets grabbed, so Apollo is going to get CC'd up, locked down, not able to get to that Lantern to get out. And it's TSM that has to go back into full retreat with no cooldowns on the Orianna, their AD carry.
Yeah, everyone kind of ran out of cooldowns by the end of that fight, so we will again reset once more. Clutch looking for another outer turret. Mid lane would be highly preferable, but they're not going to get the luxury of choosing for themselves really unless they can win another fight. Probably a little harder than the last pick they just got.
Bjergsen going to go straight actually for the death cap. Pretty interesting. Makes a little pit stop here at the Haunting guys after his Seraphs, and he is going to be building straight towards that death cap. Not a ton of MR on some of these members. I mean, there is a QSS though on the jungler. There is a Banshees on the mid lane.
Oh, Lyra gets out. QSS spied there in the inventory. Good purchase there from Lyra. He knows he's been one of the big targets.
Definitely so. And the real person that's going to have to watch out for Bjergsen with this death cap completed is Apollo, because he has no MR at all. If he gets comboed whatsoever by the Syndra, he will just die instantly. But both these mid laners are really fighting back and forth, pulling off some pretty impressive plays. All the pressure that was kind of put on Febiven in the early stages gave Bjergsen a lead, but here we are, Febiven, still over 10 CS a minute, sitting at 3 kills, and looking like he is in position to really have a strong outcome.
Less than 1,000 gold between the two mid laners, despite the turret lead and the CS lead that Bjergsen does hold. So impressive from Clutch's star player. We'll see if they can transfer that into more wins as the game gets later. Still Clutch up, falling, I would say, acceptably far behind for them. But this is one of the gold leads that's a little closer than they'd like, so a little further away than they'd like.
Yeah, definitely so. It's getting to that line where you're not really sure if it's too much, and certainly I think the biggest edge is that you're kind of not expecting from TSM, where you're not expecting the Gangplank to be ahead in gold over the Gnar, as early on as he was. He was doing very well in lane. You weren't expecting a level 1 First Blood from the Ezreal and Braum into a Caitlyn matchup, and that really did kind of set the tempo of that lane. And because Ven and Mithy played it so incredibly well, they are the ones that are up in farm. They are the ones who knock down that bottom turret. And that has really kind of changed things from where Clutch would have been expecting them to go in the draft and in that original gameplay.
Apollo still playing a little from behind. Ven has completed his 3rd item from the Blade of the Ruined King, but Apollo does have gold still to spend. Forbidden also ramping up to his next item. Doesn't look like Death Cap, so I guess we'll find out in a second.
Well, that's the large rod is the only thing that really builds into it. It only builds into a death cap.
Bonus anthem.
Yeah, it might just simply be, hey, I want to be as strong as I possibly can be right now, because when you're getting to the 27-minute mark, this is around the time where a fight often means Baron, right? So they know that they're behind. He feels he needs the maximum amount of power in his build so that if that inevitable fight comes, he can have a chance to win it for his team. Because if they win that fight, they get the Baron. All of a sudden, the lead TSM has been scraping and building up. Doesn't mean very much.
No, and you can see Bjerg has finished his death cap fully on the other side, so that pit stop he took should be pretty heavily rewarded given how much raw power he has right now.
Yeah, I mean, no MR on the Thresh, no MR on this Gnar, no MR on the Caitlyn. Those are 3 really prime targets for Bjergsen here.
Follows out of there, Lyra with good defenses after Hako's Lantern saved the Caitlyn. Lyra back in, maybe looking for Bjerg. Bjerg with the cleanse ready. Maybe trying to bait it out. Solo comes into the fight on the flank, but he's tired.
needs to rebuild that rage.
Yeah, he certainly does. And TSM is trying to posture around the Baron. They have the pink ward in the brush. So Clutch needs to shove up the mid lane. They need to get priority there and force TSM to kind of come over.
Oh.
Look at that barrel. Oh my God.
Half health. Hakuo gets stunned up again. Haunter with a huge long-range barrel.
I mean, that was 1,000 damage at this point in the game. He's already at 3 items, 1,000 damage on the barrel crit over on a Hakuo. They're going to have to drop the redemption, just kind of stay out on the map as they know TSM wants to threaten this barrel. They know they want to knock it down. They're doing such a good job posturing around it, clearing out the midways, and they have full vision control in that area. So Clutch is kind of up against it right now.
TSM also taking this time to back off. Sven is side lane right now in the top, getting things going. Bjergsen comes back to mid. Haunter barrels down the rest, and Clutch like, all right, we got to at least get some of this vision out now that we know TSM have recalled at least some of their members.
Yeah, that's well done from Clutch. You see the members going back off the map. That is your opportunity to kind of get in there and clear out some of that vision, but TSM is coming out with a lot of pink wards in the inventory and is starting to clear that vision out right again. And as Clutch goes back to base, they're even going to start losing some of their defensive wards. And TSM can threaten simply starting up the Baron. Anytime they go out of vision, Clutch has to be worried about that. And here they are, right onto the Baron, but they're going to step back as a blue orb does go down.
Maybe a fake as the controller will, of course, turn those off. Haunter again, fishing for barrels. Trying to chunk down almost anyone. Solo does have some armor building up now. Ninja Tabai plus. Ooh, suppression on the Hakuo. Good spell. Bad news, Bears. It does. Solo able to get the kill. Solo with a big scoop in. Mithy getting low. Almost gets headshot down, but it's not enough. It's Sven. Tears Lyra apart. Solo quick to fall after Haunter grabs the double. TSM find 3 quick ones.
Yeah, and they're finally able to get that advantage from all the vision they have around the Baron. They are going straight onto the Baron. It will be. There's no chance of a contest from Clutch Gaming, and this is going to be a massive gold lead. The Baron on the map, and TSM in full control.
No contest offered, I think rightly so. Clutch will take the mid outer. They'll get what they can, but TSM still up about 6,500 gold.
Yeah. And with a comp that has the ability to continually get these picks, to continually force on their opponents. And I like the fact that Mike Young is going to expend the ult there onto Hakuo. This is a very, very squishy Thresh. I mean, this is a Redemption, Eye of the Ascension, Moby Boots Thresh. That is extremely low amount of defenses that is built up, and they just eliminate him immediately. He's not able to get anything off, and despite the fact that Solo had a nice engage there, Apollo is quite behind Sven. He's not able to get in and have that same level of effectiveness, and you can see Febiven not able to find the key shockwave, which could have maybe done something in that fight, but definitely going to be really tough for Clutch now from this position.
Didn't shove either, still has 2K banked up as TSM look to assault with the Baron here, looking for that mid-tier 2 as their first port of call.
Yeah, Febiven likely just saving for that death cap at this point. You're going to need a couple hundred more gold to be able to buy that up, and that will help him quite a bit. Apollo is at a pretty strong point now, has his 3 items finally, so they are going to have their opportunities, but they're definitely very far on the back foot. The Clutch has been in these sorts of scenarios before. They have had heroics, from people like Apollo, stealing Barons, stealing the Dragons, and being able to turn these games around.
Against TSM, nonetheless. They've been trying to defend, but it is not recommended. Oh, Lyra, never mind. He says it is. Shockwave back, trying to get the Braum, but he's pretty tanky with the Unbreakable up box there from Hakuo, but TSM not deterred, will take down the turret.
Yeah, they try to expend a lot of ultimates there, hoping they can burst down someone to kind of push TSM back, but now, with no ultimates up on a lot of their members, there's not much hope for defending the middle turret and some of these inner turrets that are going to be collected up here by TSM.
Bjergsen does not hit a follow-up stun, but still 4 turrets to 2 as TSM continue to snowball this gold lead forward. Now 8,000 gold ahead.
You can see the Double Ocean is actually making a pretty big difference in this game here too. Mithy is just straight up regenning his health right back up to full. They're going to continue pressuring. They have Sven over in the mid lane, Haunter shoving in the top lane, and they are being pretty patient about that bot lane because they knew off of the ultimates being down, they could knock down that outer turret in the mid, and top turret is extremely low too, so you can just rotate up there and look to finish that off if Haunter doesn't do it himself.
Yeah, Haunter is just having quite the solo mission here. Again, going back up. No 4 mugs, so TSM like, oh, we got 2 oceans. That seems like a pretty good compensation with 0 Warmugs users, really, between the team. Maybe Skana. The Clutch losing turrets make it 6-2. Only the inhibitor and the Nexus turrets left.
And I think we will actually see Mithy just go Warmogs himself. Play cleanse, stand in front, try to tank all the damage, and then sit back and just straight up regen back up. And that's my guess for what his build is going to be. But either way, TSM in full control, 6 turrets down, as you said. Going to be looking to be in a very, very strong position as more and more of these item completions do come through. You can see Mike Young, now has that Righteous Glory, has the Locket. He is really fully online, and Hauntzer even completing his PD, going to increase his dueling potential and give him that extra crit for the barrels, which we've already seen can be completely enormous.
Yeah. Now Ocean Drake number 3, TSM will claim them all. Elder Dragon will be the next spawn in this game, but TSM just throwing their weight around with this 10,000 gold lead, waiting for the Baron to respawn and just slowly but surely putting pressure in all these lanes.
I mean, they're just willing to kind of grind it out. They're getting advantages all over the map, so they don't need to force anything too crazy. At this point, Hauntzer is 4,000 gold ahead of his opponent because of the GP passive, because of how well he has laned, the turrets they have taken, the advantages they have gained. That is enormous, and TSM is definitely looking on postseason form.
I mean, we've seen that, I think, in the last few weeks, maybe even before that, TSM has stuck to a style and played it to almost perfection. But I mean, at this point, yes, it's like, oh, well, Beckman just plays Syndra, let's ban it. It's like, well, he just plays Roaming Champs, let's ban it. It's like, these are good players. At some point, you run out of things, and you only have one game to test in the regular season or in tiebreaks for the best of one. So all you can do is hope you outplay them, and that has not been the case.
Definitely not. And Clutch is looking to hold on. It's going to be looking to try to craft some sort of a comeback, but it really kind of has to come off of the back of a really big teamfight win, you almost feel like. If you can hit that perfect shockwave, if you can hit the perfect Mega Gnar ultimate and these sorts of things, you can eliminate someone right at the start of the fight, and then all of a sudden the gold lead is not really a big deal. But barring that great start to a fight, barring that initial kill, it's going to be incredibly hard for them to take a slow fight. And if it's not that, then you have to sit back and you have to say, all right, we lost all our outers. It's time to turtle up. It's time to look for the 60-minute game. Wave clear, and just play it slow and try to get to the stage where the gold lead no longer matters.
Yep, play for 6 items. May just be the option here for Clutch, given how far behind they have fallen. Hauntzer getting things pushing in the bot lane. Baron up in a minute 45. TSM with their eyes firmly on that Baron to be the one that seals them the rest of this game.
And if you can have a heroic steal, if you can have a teamfight win into that Baron, then Clutch really will get back into this. But it's going to be tough because, again, TSM is playing so well around the vision in the Baron. We saw how patient they were in the initial Baron take, constantly reestablishing vision, putting multiple pink wards down there, and being able to get themselves into a position where Clutch just can't do very much to contest.
TSM, I think, have been pretty safe, methodical, but also decisive when needed to. Certainly, again, you look at their bot lane, everyone says, well, they're really defensive. Level 1 all-in says otherwise, as Solo getting pressured by Mike Young. Good shadow here from the Skarner Redemption. Is just a little bit of extra help, but I don't think it's going to matter. The wallop now actually might be enough as Hauntzer tries to get a little bit more damage with the ulti.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an oopsie there from Hauntzer. Pretty late ult, not going to be able to finish Solo off. Good job escaping, honestly, and surviving there from him. That was actually the flash blown from Mike Young. He didn't even need to blow a summoner. The hook, though.
Hakuo gets crushed by Sven and Bjergsen. And the follow-up is here. Mythiuchi's ult. Lyra defensively prisons.
I mean, Hakuo hits the hook, but it's him that got caught. Bjergsen just able to cleanse out of that and just absolutely erase him. He is just so ridiculously squishy with this build, and now picks up a QSS, which is going to help him out somewhat, but still. He is sorely lacking in HP, he's sorely lacking in defensive stats, and when you play these sorts of builds from ahead, it looks fantastic because you're roaming around, you're affecting everywhere, but from behind it can be very difficult to play these really squishy style builds, especially on a picked champion.
TSM again just knowing full well what their lead looks like on the map. Clutch with only still turrets taken, make it 7 now for TSM. Solo with a very unrequited face check. He's going to get taken, no!
CC last
How
forever.
did he live?
I mean, he's a tanky boy. He has his randoms. He's got the cowl on top of that, a lot of HP, and his Habby, so definitely tanky. But Lyra, I don't know if you're tanky enough for this.
Oh, Lantern out Hakuo this time. Has it ready. True Shot barrage for a bit of vision and poke. Solo living though. Did use the TP, but hey, Clutch back to defend.
Yeah, that is a QSS down there for Lyra, but thankfully he has a Warmog, so he can regen back up. You are seeing Clutch pushing back out on the map, and they are surviving some of these fights by the narrowest of margins, trying to find a way in, trying to find an opportunity to turn one of these fights around and really get a win, because that is exactly what they need to kind of get back into this one. They are falling steadily further and further behind.
Clutch feeling it though. They kind of have the items where they need them on their carries. Actually was a recall there by Gangplank.
Maybe they just start this. I think they are. Yeah, they're just going to start this up. They're going to try to force TSM into a fight that Clutch is ready for. The GP Ultimate's going to drop, though, and Clutch is getting fairly low.
Damage to me seems like a little too much. Baron goes over, Mike Young steals it, and it's a complete tragedy in the pit for Clutch Gaming. They'll clean up the kills, they'll pick up 3, they'll grab the Baron, Forbidden will die, and TSM get it all.
Yeah, Mike Young finally going to get his revenge for Apollo stealing it away in their earlier games in the season. TSM is going to clean up this game against Clutch. 3 members down, Baron buff on the map, 16,000 gold lead.
All about the Ezreal. Apparently, TSM secure the Baron, take down the inhib, and are just going straight for the base.
And TSM are now setting up that match with Team Liquid, the rematch against Doublelift, to see who's going to be in that 3rd seed.
Certainly a lot of excitement, but TSM maybe doubts in the middle of the split, but they will silence a lot of that here as they take down Clutch, move in to play for 3rd or 4th versus Liquid. Clutch had that number in the regular season, but when it counts, TSM take it.
TSM just so consistent over the years. Despite the fact they had a very poor start to the split, they've been steadily improving in the second half of the split, have looked so good. Now moving to 8-2 in the second half. They are playing for 3rd place. Meanwhile, Clutch will fall to that 5th, 6th match. They're going to be going up against Cloud9, who has really kind of taken a turn for the worse in the later half of the split.
Yeah, certainly so. TSM will celebrate their victory, but can't celebrate too early. Still have another tiebreak to play. That is true for both of these teams, but TSM looking still in that same form we've seen in the last few weeks. It's just starting to get tough to doubt them. I mean, this was the split where I think I would have been like, okay, well, they're probably still going to make playoffs, but I do not think I predict them to win to be in the finals.
Yeah.
Now I think they may be a favorite to win the finals, certainly probably be there, given the form they've had.
Yeah, definitely they are one of the favorites, certainly. You have to speak a lot about teams like Team Liquid have been looking so good recently, and 100 Thieves especially, who has been on fire in the second half. They secured 1st seed, so there are some really good teams now picking it up towards the end of the split, looking very, very good, and TSM certainly one of them. But teams now, as you said, have to keep their eyes set on the next match. Both these teams have one more game to play, and they're going to be very important ones because it's going to be about avoiding those tougher opponents in the 1st round and making sure you get to Miami.
Well, there are 2 tiebreaks left, so for more on that win, let's hear from the trio on the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. 2 more to go, but before we get to those, we're going to talk about TSM's victory here over Clutch Gaming. So again, continuing that upward trajectory for the squad that seemed to be in somewhat shambles on the first half of the split has really turned it on, kind of chasing 100 Thieves up the ladder, if you will.
Yeah, definitely the second hottest team in the back half of the split, and they continue to be hot here in the tiebreaker mini pre-postseason.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. The title gets longer every time we say it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they've now won 5 games in a row and 8 of 9, right? With the only loss there being to 100 Thieves, who's now the team in 1st place in the standings.
Right.
They're coming together in a really big way. Like, they showed a lot of style in this game as well. They went back to playing around mid lane. They're the best team at playing with Syndra, it feels like, in the LCS. Very few people are willing to do this, but as soon as we saw the Orianna in that draft, we were willing to say Syndra. And then they know how to play with it early, too. Like, Mike Young knows Skarn is a fast clearer. You know Syndra gets pushed at level 1. You know if Lyra doesn't go buff to buff, you can push him off of it. And Lyra does not go buff to buff, so Bjergsen harasses him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the huge thing is Mike Young was in his own jungle when Bjergsen made that play, and then Mike Young followed up. Here, the big thing was that everyone's like, okay, Bjergsen's popping off.
Beautiful.
We got to do something about Bjergsen, but you can't. He's too good. He just stays through the ganks, and they start turning them on their own.
No cleanser your own there, buddy.
Pretty well played as well, so that looks good. And then they just keep going mid, both teams, too. It's not just TSM, though. They get the better end of a lot of these trades.
Yeah, it's not like Clutch didn't try and fight back. Like Lyra did keep his experience pretty close. You can see he's only 1 level down. He actually has a really nice counter gank there.
Both support showing up.
Matches the roam, but since Bjergsen had already died, they're able to pick up Mithy as well on the back end. So Clutch was not down for the count, but it definitely was TSM having more pressure in a lot of the game.
Played him close for the first bit, but we go to the bot lane, we go to our next replay, TSM getting a fight, then the Baron off the back of it. That's where the game really opens up.
Yeah, there were a lot of skirmishes that broke out in the mid-game around mid lane / Baron buff, and then this is one that finally TSM get a decisive enough of a victory. Just go in, instantly grab Hakuho, blow him up before he can do anything. You're fighting a 5v4 now, and then Febby doesn't pull his ult anywhere here. Looking for the perfect one, doesn't show up, and then you're left with no damage. Maybe could have finished someone off. Maybe could have set your team up a little bit, but one of the big Shockwave doesn't find anything.
All right, well, as we take a look at the post-game breakdown, Jad, I know one of the things you wanted to talk about was TSM's draft strategies, especially against opponents in which they feel Hauntzer outclasses the opposing top laner.
Exactly. We've seen them blind the nerfed Gangplank into Team Liquid, which is Impact, and we've seen them do it again here. And Hauntzer, when Gangplank was stronger, was also undefeated on it. So
Oh, that's some good numbers.
it's insanely powerful. It's really potent, and I like the confidence they're doing it with because you saw he didn't get punished. And then when he does get into late game team fights, he's just so much more effective than the Gnar. And when they do pick Syndra to go with it to add so much CC into the team fights, it makes them feel as strong as their roster should make them look, right?
Right, and I'm right there with you.
There, but you followed it.
I absolutely followed it. I mean, I think
yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like all of a sudden you're giving Bjergsen more agency, right?
Yeah.
If you have a player that has high mechanical skill cap, has the ability to make game-winning plays, you still have to give him the tools to do so.
Yeah.
You can't give him a zillion and say, okay, win the game with 1 damage ability.
Try
you know,
that.
you can try it.
Worlds.
Yeah. What's nice about it, too, is it frees up your comps a fair amount.
Right.
Where you're bringing a lot of AD damage from the top side. They want tanks elsewhere. Mithy's playing Braum all the time. So you can always have a late-game insurance policy this way. And this time, they still had a lot of early, mid-jungle synergy where they can scrap a lot. So I think this strategy is really good. They're playing TL next.
They're playing TL next.
Yeah.
That was the first game of the split, by the way, wasn't it? The
Yes.
opening game of the split.
Yep.
TL against TSM. TL.
This is the best of 3.
Smashing them.
Yeah, TL's going to have side selection. We were kind of talking about this because these teams have started to funnel their picks into like really predictable things. We're
Right.
like, TL wants Jhin.
Yep.
TSM might pick Ezreal and Braum or Zyricon. Gangplank's going to get blinded if it's up. Syndra's a good pick. Ryze is a good pick.
Yep.
Like they both like Skarner.
Right.
We know the teams.
Maybe they
that
just
come
throw
on.
everything out the window and do something crazy. TL did select blue side as they have side
right.
selection due to the victory scores. And, of course, this does mean that Clutch Gaming will be playing against Cloud9
Yeah.
in the final game of the day to see who's going to get 5th or 6th.
And that matters too, especially because I think whoever wins that TL versus TSM game are clearly two of the teams with the most momentum.
Yes.
So you really do want to dodge them in that first game, which means both are important with the 6th seed. And then also, I think the 3rd seed is the most important thing, only because of how hot 100 Thieves is versus how lackluster Echo Fox looked on the second half when you're looking towards semifinals and trying to get into finals.
Let's put some images to it and take a look at the tiebreaker bracket as it's beginning to fill out. Of course, you see the victors from the first 2 games and how they've slotted into our 3rd seed match.
You know the craziest thing?
What?
You could have told me that this is like the actual playoff bracket at the start of the year.
You believe it?
And I think it would have been realistic.
Yeah.
People were saying that Team Liquid versus
Except for
TSM was gonna be-
CLG is waiting in the finals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course. In the next screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But really, TL and TSM were super hyped. Echo Fox and 100 Thieves, who were with the playoff buys, were actually ranked below them in a lot of this. But now you can see, which is what's going to make playoffs so exciting for me, especially when we're done these tiebreakers, is like just how close it really is.
Yeah.
Because these are just best of ones to seed it, but we're going to get to see all this again next week.
Without a doubt, the closest NALCS split we've ever had. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break. When we return, it's tiebreaker number 4, where Team Liquid and TSM face off for 3rd place.
Looking good. Apollo Clutch just flashed away. Looking for a dig. Ignite is enough. The TSM, here's a gank from mid lane. Bjergsen, he's going to get a good scatter back, but here comes Hako. Finds a hook and insta-cleanse from Bjerg. Shockwave flashed out of the way. Bjergsen, I don't know if that's enough. The Shockwave is good, but a good counter gank here from Lyra. Could turn it all the way around. Ace in the whole flash forward from Lyra. He wants to seal to get the Permafrost. The damage is good for Vivian Grabs.
Oh, the hook on Mike Young.
That's a suppressor, but I think it might be okay. No, it's not at all. Mike Young able to get the kill. Solo with a big scoop in. 50 getting low. Almost gets headshot down, but it's not enough. It's Sven. Tears Lyra apart.
Clutch is getting fairly low.
Damage seems like a little too much. Baron goes over. Mike Young steals it. And it's a complete tragedy in the pit for Clutch Gaming.